But, you know, I think with things like this that we're doing, you know, the People's Forum, we'll be able to unify and be able to, you know, spread the love and spread the joy in the world. So with that being said, I'm going to play 2 songs or, you know, however many fill up the time. I know that we're on a schedule and we're already 5 minutes in. But this is a tune of mine called Material Things. And I hope you guys enjoy. Right now, I'm going to do another one. Hopefully, this one's familiar. I think this one is very appropriate for the times. This is a song from home. It's a redemption song by Bob Marley. Hope you guys enjoy. Old pirates, yes, they rob us, so lied to the merchant ships, Minutes after they took I from the bottomless pits, my hands were made strong by the hands of the Almighty. We forward in this generation triumphantly. Won't you help me sing these songs of freedom? Is all I'll ever have. Redemption song, these songs of freedom. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but yourself can free your mind. Have no fear for atomic energy, 'cause Donald Trump can't stop the time. How long shall we kill the prophets while we stand aside and look? Ooh, yeah, some say it's just a part of it, but we've got to fulfill the book. Won't you help me sing these songs of freedom? Is all I'll ever have. Redemption song, these songs of freedom. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but yourself can free your mind. Have no fear for atomic energy, 'cause none of them can stop the time. How long shall they kill our prophets while we stand aside and look? Some say it's just a part of it. We've got to fulfill the book. Won't you help me sing these songs of freedom? Is all I'll ever have. Redemption song, these songs of freedom. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Russell. Thank you. Everyone, Russell Hall is an Grammy and Golden Globe nominated jazz artist from Kingston, Jamaica. Russell studied at the Juilliard School in New York City. His band, Bessie and the Rainbow Kids, is a group comprised of artists from all around the world whose mission is to bring peace to all ears and love to all arts. Russell is a part of Big Love, who will be joining us next Thursday for our Green Room series. I met Russell recently while he was performing at the Blue Note. just rocking out like on almost every instrument. And I've just never seen a musician move like that. And yeah, thank you again so much, Russell, for joining us.
Thank you, Sierra. I really enjoyed it. I'm actually doing another live stream right after this. So I'm running back and forth, but thank you for having me be a part of this. It means the world to me.
No, thank you. Thank you so much.
And I look forward to next week.
Oh yeah. So
thank you so much, Russell.
good evening and welcome everyone to the first installment of the Spirit and Struggle concert series with the People's Forum. My name is Sierra Taylor and I support with membership and programming at the People's Forum.
And my name is Juan Peralta and I support with some cultural events and event logistics.
Juan does everything, including logistics for this show, so don't let him fool you. The Spirit of Struggle concert series is just the latest of online exchanges that the People's Forum has engaged in following the closing of our physical space in order to ensure the health of our community. The spirit of struggle is a phrase that we've borrowed from our comrades in Brazil with the Landless Peoples Movement, or the MST. They refer to it as mística. And when we talk about the spirit of struggle or mística, or our Nepalese comrades call it kritika, we're talking about uplifting the values, the culture, the spirit of resistance. And mística, or the spirit of struggle, is something that has been around for as long as resistance has been around. Whether we're talking about the way in which Haitian folks ate soup jumu, the pumpkin soup that was only reserved for the ruling class in Haiti, the way they engaged in ritual the night before they started the rebellion. Salsa, merengue, samba, these dances that come out of enslaved folks in the Caribbean, in Latin America, not only as a way to sustain themselves and keep each other going, but also as a way to train, as a way to prepare themselves for battle. There's so many examples of mística.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so many examples throughout history, but also like anytime that people are together, really like chanting, singing in the name of struggle is a representation of mística.
Mm-hmm. And so, like we said, the mística is engaging in the culture and values of working class people. We've seen incredible ways that working class people who have been engaged in mutual aid projects that really show the solidarity of working class people with one another, and not some sort of charity. But in a way that we can really support one another. And we've seen this from the way in which community members have, been able to support older folks, or people who can't go grocery store shopping, or people who can't afford food. We've seen doctors like Armin Henderson in Miami giving out free testing to homeless folks. We've seen China, Cuba, these countries send medical brigades around the world to support ending this pandemic. And it's important. We feel like it's so important to uplift these responses, because we've seen the response that these corporations, these corporate-backed politicians have responded to this crisis.
Yeah, definitely. That's an important part, the solidarity, not charity, right? Because solidarity is rooted within struggle, is rooted within the grassroots, and charity is given, right? There's always, but in charity, in the capitalist sense, is always has something behind it. And we've seen how these capitalists, what the definition of charity is really like giving to themselves, as we've seen with like these mass bailouts. And they've given enough money in the last 4 weeks to pay everybody's 2019 wages, but still some folks haven't received the first check, the first check. So it's
Right.
definitely important that we uplift communities that are working with one another, that are in the middle of struggle, instead of praising folks that are throwing down crumbs at us.
Right. Throwing down crumbs while, in this latest installment of, what was supposed to be recovery for everyday people, 282 billion of that went to these big corporations and tax cut to billionaires. And just like we have Mystica, or a celebration of communities, working class communities in struggle, the ruling class has Mystica. I mean, have you seen all these commercials? It's like, thank the essential workers, buy a car, or these sort of like military jets flying over New York City, costing
Word.
$60,000 instead of buying face mask and protective equipment, or canceling the rent,
Yeah,
or giving
how long
access.
did it take? How long did it take for Amazon to like give PPE to their workers? But they produced that commercial the next day after they gave PPE. People got fired because they were asking for protective gear, and then the day after the face masks are shipped to the warehouses, they right away send the camera crew to record and see how good they're doing. Right?
Right.
Every 4th of July, that's the capitalist mystica, right? It's the freedom of the U.S. Meanwhile, poor and working class people are suffering still today.
Mhm. And it's at all levels. Like you were just talking the other day about Trump and stealing medical supplies from countries in the Caribbean and
Yeah,
poorer countries.
we got an orange pirate. We got an orange pirate for the president.
Pirate of Mar-a-Lago.
He's out here stealing from Rihanna. He stole Rihanna's booty.
um, and so it's just like, as like this sort of corporate, this sort of ruling class mystica is taking place, that's sort of their cultural preparation for us to go into battle, into war on behalf of their interests. We see the way that they've been ramping up attacks against China. I mean, and it's not just Trump's camp, it's
It's
just
everybody. It's the
Joe
Democrats.
Biden.
Joe Biden. I mean, easy on Joe Biden. He don't know where he at. He doesn't know where he's at most of the time. He heard somebody say China. He was like, I'm on that team.
Yeah, it's like if Joe Biden becomes president, it's gonna be like 50 first dates where Adam
Every morning
Sandler's
you're
gonna have
gonna
to remind him that he's president. It's like, what, like we deserve better than that. And so, just like your Mystica is preparing, trying to prepare us for war, our Mystica is preparing us for peace. Preparing us, to be able to struggle with one another, used as political education, letting us know who we are, reminding us of our values, our history, our culture, our resistance, and sustaining us in the movement. And so we're really glad for everyone who is joining us this evening for this concert series. We want to thank so much the team at the People's Forum. We have an incredible team. We have an incredible community, and with that, we lost two of our community members. Richard, who has been a freedom fighter all his life. He's been engaged in struggle. He would always come in like every day and just be willing to sit down with us, to listen with us, to talk about his experience. And of course, vice versa. Not only a great MC, but a great human being, someone who just made you feel loved, made you feel important. He was one of the co-founders of End of the Week, which is a hip hop collective, an international hip hop collective, bringing together people from all over the world. So we want to just shout out End of the Week, shout out Sun Tzu, Kendra, the whole team. We love you. We're here with you, and just thank you for being a part of our community. Juan, do you want to introduce Gabby?
Yeah, so part of what we're doing in this concert series is that every time we have one, we're gonna introduce somebody from the grassroots who's working on solidarity movements. So this week we're gonna be introducing Justice Center in El Barrio and Kathy Rojas, who have been working with the Cancel the Rents campaign. So Kathy, you good? get it
All
rolling.
right, thank you, Juan. Yeah, so as he said, I'm from the Justice Center in El Barrio. I'm based in Queens, born and raised, right now living in Elmhurst in the heart of the pandemic, one of the places that's most affected by COVID-19 and that is most neglected as well. And we see that we always have known that, you know, within capitalism, they're always going to put profit over people. But when they're doing it right now, it's only affecting our communities more, right? And it's only more detrimental. We're seeing the impact of that so much more right now, right? We're hearing daily of people that we know, people that we grew up with, of I'm a teacher, of students, of their family members passing away. And that's why right now we have to be innovative, right? It's not the time to really to be inactive. So what we're doing right now is we have started a cancel the rent campaign. Last week we began our hello.
We
We
can
can
hear
hear
you.
you.
Okay, go
We
ahead.
can hear you.
No, because it stopped, but I thought it was my internet, my bad. I'm like, oh man. Okay. So last week, we started our caravan protest. So what this pandemic has pushed us to do is really to go into action, to really find ways to be innovative, to be creative of how we can protest without being next to each other, right? So what we started doing last week is we launched our Cancel the Rent campaign, where we had car caravans in Queens. We had over 10 cars that were holding placards saying cancel the rents, cancel the mortgages, and we had this going out throughout the nation, right? And people may say, why should we cancel the rent? Well, right now we have over 1 million people sick with COVID-19. About 30 million people have filed for unemployment, and the relief check that they send us is a joke. 1,200. I mean, in New York City or anywhere in the United States, that is not enough to last us for the duration of this pandemic. And that I'm gonna get into how that affects our community, specifically in Elmhurst, where we're in an undocumented community, an immigrant community that doesn't even have access to these things. But while at the same time that they're really giving us these crumbs, they're giving trillions of dollars. It has been at least $5 trillion to big banks and the largest corporations, and only 249 billion has actually been allocated to working class people. So these are gifts that they're giving to banks that many of them, or corporations that many of them don't even pay taxes. It's our taxes, it's our money, it's working class people's money that they are stealing so that they could protect their profits. And while we are here dying, right? Our people are actually dying. And the government has the authority to cancel the rent. We see that Representative Ilhan Omar already introduced the Rent and Mortgage Cancellation Act, but we don't see it being passed. So they have the power to do these things, yet they aren't. And all of these benefits that have been introduced, unemployment, the relief check, all of these things actually can't be taken advantage of by immigrant communities and undocumented families, okay? They are not eligible for this help. And what does that mean? That means that they have to risk their life every single day to continue to work because they are not offered the resources that they need to stay home. And what that is causing is a genocide of our people. And if we look at who are the people that are most impacted by COVID-19, we see that it is Black and Latino people, because they do not have the privilege to stay home, because they have to go to work to pay their rent, to buy their food, because the US chooses to use our taxes to bail out banks, but not bail out the people. Okay, so we need to stand up. This is not the moment for us to be silent. This is not the moment for us to be inactive. Okay, and we have to look for different ways to be active. So like I said, one of the caravan is one of the ways that we have been pushing, kind of like protesting, right? The other, because people are in cars, they're still obviously they're 6 feet away, they're in their cars. But also we're asking people to sign our petition at canceltherent.org. And we are also, people all around New York City are engaging in mutual aid efforts and solidarity efforts. Right now in Queens, we're working with Centro Corona to offer, shout out to Centro Corona, always doing amazing work, to offer people food, right? To offer people mercados, because the city isn't providing for it, So we're really trying to be active in any way that we can. Right now, we also know that on May 1st, May 1st is tomorrow, we know that workers are going to be on strike all throughout the US, but in the warehouses of Amazon in New York City, we know that many workers are going on strike because they need hazard pay, they need PPE, they need paid sick leave, all of these things, or the warehouses where they have found people COVID positive should be shut down, okay? And we need to understand that people that work in these factories are considered essential workers as well. And unless those factories shut down, they cannot apply for unemployment. So, hit us up. Let us know, look at our Facebook page, the Justice Center in El Barrio, our Instagram page, and let us know if you want to get active, if you want to join us. We are, like I said, we are protesting, but we're protesting within the guidelines of social distancing. We are doing petitions, we're doing mutual aid work, whatever needs to be done, because we understand that if it is not for the power of the people of this right now, the government is going to do with us whatever they want. They don't care about us. We know that. But what we know is that we have the power to make them care about us, to make it so our voices are heard. And we have done it historically over and over and over again, and we have to do it right now, because we have to save our people's lives that are literally dying because of this, okay? So with that, I want to introduce the next artist. So the next artist is Sybil, who is an Afro-Latina rapper and producer. She is born and raised in New York City. And he has been featured in the Howard Homecoming Hip Hop Show and Afro Punk Battle of the Bands, among other events. His sound is contemporary, but calls back to the classics and 90s boom bap. His music promotes awareness and inclusivity, strengthened by both his experience as a community organizer and his academic background. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Sybil.
It's good. Hold on. I don't know if you can hear me. We good? Y'all hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
You're good.
Cool. All right, what's good, everybody? Pleased to be a part of this. I'm just gonna jump right into it. All right, just let me know about the sound if there's any issues or anything.
You sound good, man.
I was part of growing up. I was part of my sexuality. I was part of dancing, clubbing. I was part of flexing. I was part of drug dealing. I was there. I could speak from experience. I saw it all.
Ain't a killer, but I know killers. Grew up with the dope dealers. Hey, ain't a killer, but I know killers. Grew up around the dope dealers. Hey, we the product of some foul shit. Seen them pop up with a foul kid. And my cousin do a wild bit. With the shooter, some was wild, man. Seen death around the corner, that was H-Block. Know a couple kids hit the face shot. Mobbing on the corner where they plot. We played tag and he was tagged on the same spot. Drug addiction in the residence. They ain't even hide the evidence. Let me go, he need his medicine. I see him when he gets a sense again. Mama got depression, uncle got depression. I done got depression, we all got depression. Hey, fuck all your suggestions, we don't need no lessons. Cruising through the city, I don't need your blessings. Plus I love my block, you know it made me tougher. Gotta put them on, you know I love my brothers. Help them make it out, cause yo, we need each other. Help them make it out, cause yo, we need each other. Life is a battle, up the creek with no paddle. Keep no crabs in the battle, they pull you down off your saddle. They vision is narrow, we supposed to think like we are pharaohs. I'm built for this, check my tarot and read my memory. Try to count me out, but Sybil back in the ring. They wouldn't be satisfied unless I'm trapped in the bin. But I'm off the top rope, top shelf when I sing. I know I'm real dangerous for the truth that I bring. I cut my promos, I think they move, see it in slow-mo. I see it feel like Tony Romo, and then I show both. The point I'm vocal, for freedom I be vocal. I put them in a chokehold, stun I be stone cold. But you know though, ain't simple. So I had to stand up, get the lighting right and everything, so I get into the groove. You know, I like to feel that energy and everything. We're gonna keep it going. Jump into the next joint. Get a little raw, but we're gonna have a good time too. Government cheese, yeah, government cheese. Grandma Chef Ramsey cooking delicacies. Document the struggle, my mother got the receipts. Try to keep a shelter, my uncle got to the streets. Driving limousines while pushing can on the side, that's Ilio Snow. Fuck with dough, pain will arrive and send to your dough. Out here we just trying to survive. And cats got killed on my steps, left their brains on the side, that's real with my eyes. Seen hardship in their minds, they filled with the lies. So fucking red I despise, it's real and it's fake. You could kiss the ladder goodbye, and we ain't never gonna stop. We gon' crash and collide, and that's real. They think shit's sweet and civil righteous. But I'm like Malcolm with the rifle, I'm on my cypress. Insane in the brain from watching lames try to fight us. They taking kindness for weakness, this is how your shit gon' get lighter. Confessions to my therapist, like I be told me. But dealing with my past, the laughter was lonely. I seen this trash system incarcerate homies. So I'm out here trying to live my priority only for the glamour life. That turning to the hammer life. Always self-sabotage cause homies can't stand the light. Sipping the yak, smoking dope, extreme lows and highs up for grabs tonight cause we ain't waiting on no afterlife, the glamour life. That'll turn into the hammer life. Always self-sabotage cause homies can't stand the light. Sipping the yak, smoking dope, extreme lows and highs up for grabs tonight cause we ain't waiting on no afterlife. Raised by pimps and hustlers that's connected. Plus the amount of trauma, the armor that's been subjected. Creates a unique perspective that's to be expected. Might not always get it, homie, but you need to respect it. We minimize pain just to feel like we sane and tell stories so gory, Tarantino complain. Moving rated R when they favorite car. Thought it was kings and queens on deck, but ain't in the cards in the state of ours. Fuck the pigs for misbehaving, for fair evasion. It won't happen to Chinese Asians or the Caucasians. When we too patient, the subject of all discrimination. And when we speak our place and they opt to turn the station. Ride the city bike, open blicky tight. Ain't no sympathy for hipsters that struggle with city life. You ain't built for it, homie, we built for it and kill for it. Toss the bullets down and feel for it, gotta feel for it. Tell them chill, boy, shit ain't that real, boy. They come at a premium, the blood that they spill, boy. That shit isn't still, boy. Turning them pills, boy. And popping fucking pills, boy. It's fuck how you feel. That'll turn it to the hammer life. Always self-sabotage, cause homies can't stand the light. Sipping the yak, smoke the dope, extreme lows and highs. Up for grabs tonight, cause we ain't waiting on no afterlife, the glamour life. That'll turn it to the hammer life. Always self-sabotage, cause homies can't stand the light. Sipping the yak, smoke the dope, extreme lows and highs. Up for grabs tonight, cause we ain't waiting on no afterlife, glamour life. Alright, now we're gonna turn up a little bit, a little feel good.
Uplift us. You know
record,
what I'm saying?
you know, goes out. This one goes out to the ladies.
Good about my people. You have the power to do that.
Might have to hit my two-step over here, you know. All I wanna do, I know you see the Mary sample. Hey. All I wanna do, might have to get light, hit the harmony shake and shit. Hey, go girl, this your world. If you ran for president, I'd probably vote, girl. Floating like a butterfly on the rope, girl. Even though you getting by, don't lose hope, girl. You be out here gleaming, so dope they feeling. All that like Keenan, you don't need him in the Venus. You a woman on a mission. Know it's cliche, but I'm fucking with your vision. I mean, really, who is it? I see you came to take over this place. Your highlight popping, and I can't see the lace. You making moves while the rest stretch, running in place. And I know you need space, cause they stay in your face. You be on the job, you be on the grind. They always wanna holler, wanna waste your time. You question with your tribe, tell them check the rhyme. Cause if they ain't about not, tell them never mind. Hey, 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 all I wanna do, hey. Sybil, all I wanna do, hey. Hey, all I wanna do. At this point, I be getting people put their hands in their shit, you know that. But come on, do that shit, do that shit, do it, do that shit, do that shit, do it, do that shit, do that shit, do it, do that shit, do that shit, do it. Hey. Hope everybody staying safe, doing what they need to do. You an ebony jet, beauty in essence. Win every time, and it ain't fair to contestants. Schooling these cats, baby, hand me a lesson. Classes in session, I learn why they all stressing. Stay getting harassed when you walk past. That sense of entitlement got them so gassed. Of course they don't last when you curve them, they show their ass. Ego made of glass, I see why you say we trash. But don't pay him no mind. Shorty, it's you I'm digging. Trying to hit the gold mine. I ain't with the games, with the name, what is your sign? Whale Jack, take my man, hit me on the phone line. Never will I put you down, I just wanna lift you up. I ain't off the white, but word to Barry, never give you up. You did with enough, but a rut never leave you stuck. Gotta count my luck, you a queen, now let's run them up. Hey. One time. Hey, 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 name's Sybil, out of Brooklyn, New York, producer, rapper. Hey, do that shit, do that shit, do it, do that shit, do that shit, do it, do that shit, do it. Alright, we're gonna jump into that next one. We're gonna take too much time, you know. We're gonna hit you with the quick hitters. Then Uncle Billy Tate video smoke coming soon. We're gonna jump into that next one.
Light could never shine like this love of yours and mine.
Alright, you hear me? You good? You know, I gotta bring the soul records. You know, that hip hop. Sybil, a star, my world, really, I'm just a czar. And anyone hating on the kid is so bizarre. You fixated, your chick's favorite, you know I made it. A piece they created, they debated, elongated. I'm living rent free in the head, I be empty. On the block like it can be, impressionable with the limp beat. The braggadocio, the combination, my home's loco. I'm never worried about broke codes, trying to live on both coasts. I'm a wise man, Memphis cat in a low post. Gotta catch a move, but I don't fuck with you slow folks. Told them I was H-Rap Brown with this rap crown. It's time to either get with it or fucking back down. So I'm a fucking made man, they ain't used to want me. And now I'm moving with my squad like I'm out to something. I'm playing like it's Monty. My skeletons, they never harm me, cause I'm out here shining in the light. The truth, they never daunted. This goes to everybody in the struggle. They always trying to dim our lights. How about dim our lights ourselves? But it's about keeping that light shine, keep pushing forward. We survivors. Through all the errors, we survived now, we'll survive again. We're gonna keep pushing till we live. Check it. A one-man show like John Leguizamo and Ferragamo. A pharaoh mixed with Mafio Pisano. From jazzy like heavy conic, the flow iconic. Silverly bonds, Shakespeare sonnets and shit like it's colonics. My plan is honest. Take over the world. And leave half of my mind, cause I don't want much, man. But I take what I'm owed. I remember seeing roaches, mice run through the stove. I remember seeing the product that was long in his nose. I was thinking about suicide at lowest and lows. But at that point, something in me got more than exposed. Told me this ain't the end of the road, got more to go. Took that purpose to grow and find my purpose some more. And now the B-boy, Sybil B-boy, they feeling the glow. So I'ma shine, I swear to God, it's my time. There's something made me and I'm here. Gotta shine. Yeah, dedicated to all the fighters. Keep shining, keep pushing. A lot of times it's a thankless job. When people see it, they see it. And name Sybil, rapper, producer. Uncle Billy Tape, that little snow comes soon. Thank you for allowing me to take the time and grace y'all real quick. Appreciate it.
That was dope, Sybil. Thank you. So next up, we are going to introduce. Hold up. Give me a second. So we are introducing Ramya Ramana, and she is the 2014 New York City Youth Poet. She is an artist, a lover of mankind, and a believer of God. She aspires to be a social and political advocate. Hit me up, girl. And advocating for human rights, social equality, and fighting against injustices. All right, so Ramya, you got the floor.
Hey, what's up? Thank you so much. I'm gonna be reading a few poems tonight. And the first one is called My Name Is. And my Wi-Fi is a little bad, so if it gets really bad, I might just turn off my video and just keep speaking. So, all right, the first one is called My Name Is. My name is flower. My name is something that stretches out the ground. My name is always waiting for the sun, always looking to the things above me. My name is gone too young, dies too soon. My name is have we met before? My name is made for you to possess, made for you to take care of. My name is I've cradled my own tears before. My name is I'm tired. My name is I have my own roots. I got my own water. My name is it raining yet? My name is I'll settle for standing. My name is I'll drink from what you walk on. My name is it's nice to meet you. My name is I'm clothed in color, which means I'm the only rainbow you can catch. My name is I'll huddle all my vacant prayers and throw them into the ashes. My name is watch me burn. My name is watch me make you burn. My name is things are always falling off me. My name is I am a slow death. My name is I'll drink from what you walk on. My name is woman, a thing of repeat, a gift. My name is drown me and I'll come back, a trinity. My name is makes you happy, a constant resurrection. My name is, and I'll still bleed a river. And I'll still be a biochemistry. And I'll still be, my name is woman. And I'll still get back up like a resurrection. And I'll still be an open grave, a death undone. And I'll still walk out of quicksand like my feet are rapture, like my hands are a double-edged sword, like my heart is the fall of Goliath, like my voice is the break room for angels, like God is working double shifts through my spine. My name is woman. My name is woman. My name is woman. My name is I'll drink from what you walk on. Okay, so the second poem is called You Are Worthy of the War. If I fall, if I'm made a frontline soldier, let the sand swallow my carcass. Let the waves wash away my flesh. Let me become seaweed to the ocean. But promise me you will not give up. Promise me you will crunch your fist and smile like you've swallowed 1,000,000 dynamites. Show them how many volcanoes failed trying to erupt you, how your body refused the lava's choke, how it bit the devil's throat, how when you were given paradise, you said no. You chose instead to hug the fire, to befriend the waterfalls, show the world how you could hold yourself like a finger. If I fall during battle, Don't mourn the laughs we shared, or the time we made pinky promises at the beach or in the dorm room. Let your knees unbuckle in the storm. Fight the tide, the capitalists, the doors trying to close, the colored girls smile. And if ever you feel alone, if ever the mountains fail to make you feel like a forest of ancient lullabies, know that there's me in heaven, your name, telling you, you are worthy of the war. And this poem is called Praise, after Carvin's Lasant. Praise the signs, how they make me feel confused. Praise the lonely, how it teaches me there's only one constant. Praise the constants, how they prepare me for heartbreak. Praise the heartbreaks, for teaching me to love myself. Praise myself, for still being alive after the flood. Praise the flood, for washing away my sins. Praise the sins, for reminding us we all need something. Praise something, for resurrecting me every morning. Praise the mornings, for that's when my heart feels the heaviest. Praise the heaviness, for it teaches me to let go of life. Praise life, for its direction can never be controlled. Praise control, for never lending itself to me. Praise me, for still believing in love after the wreckage. Okay, and I have one last short poem. It's crazy. I've been thinking a lot about like what it means to like be still and like really be still and not let your mind wander and do all these things. And that's really hard for me. And I found this poem, you know, when I was looking for like, you know, what I want to read tonight. And I was like, you know, this was like pre-quarantine, but it just made me think about like how many times, you know, like not to like undermine everything that's going on in the world, but like I think there is a moment that you can just kind of sit in stillness and be there. Yeah, so this is there's no title. The moon whispered itself, humming like a fading mosaic. The sky invites the sun to a dance. The world dies a million times just to see. Be everything holy. Be everything away from city lights, ruffling feet, waterfalls of people echoing their questions, their chaos. Here, all I see is everything before the person, everything before the foot-turned machine. It's the song that turns into an album of earth. When I am here, I'm reminded how insignificant human fear is, how life washes and moves just like the wind, just like the waves, letting the breeze crash into the shore like a blanket, tucking a child in. Life sometimes is a letting go, is a fear turned real, turned not, turned it doesn't even matter. Here, away from the city I'm so used to, from crowds moving their jaws like tapping toes, I am reminded I did not create this, and the waves will keep moving. So I just want to say thank you. Thanks for listening, and also just want to hold space for people that have been affected by this. I know there's a lot of people, especially for those of us in New York. I know a lot of people I know and love have been personally affected by this virus, and I know like part of the reason why the People's Forum is putting this together is for how we can show up for each other. So, you know, this has been great to hear you, but also like if there's any other way, you know, I can show up, let me know. Thank you.
So thank you so much for those words, Ramya. They were definitely much needed, very powerful. Thank you. I really appreciated it, and I'm sure that everybody listening and tuning in did as well. So our next speaker is Jose Delgado, who is a singer and songwriter from Caracas, Venezuela. Yes.
Hola.
First, I'm from Colombia.
Hola,
So
hola.
after being empirically trained by the school of the street, being in different bands of Venezuelan and Latin American traditional and popular music, and having ventured into theatrical production as a musician and actor, Jose Delgado undertakes this journey as a singer-songwriter in 2005 with his album La Ventana. So excited to listen to it, Jose. Welcome.
Gracias, gracias. Contento de compartir con ustedes. Gracias por la invitación a la gente de People's Forum. Gracias a todos por ese esfuerzo. Desde acá, desde Caracas, desde mi casa, bueno, les mando un abrazo cantado. Aquí, bueno, en nuestro hermoso pueblo de Venezuela, que está librando 1000 batallas, que viene librando desde hace muchos años, cuando decidió cambiar el rumbo de su destino y hacerlo junto al trabajador, junto al cultor, junto a la ancestralidad. Y bueno, feliz nosotros como músicos de acompañarlo, acompañar a nuestro pueblo, de tomar las banderas de nuestros ancestros para construir algo que se parezca a nosotros, algo más parecido a lo que nosotros somos, lo que soñamos ser. Quiero cantarles una canción que se llama Liberen a Prometeo. Liberen a Prometeo. Prometeo, el titán de la mitología griega, que fue el que robó el fuego a los dioses para darlo a los seres humanos. Y se ganó la ira del dios Zeus, quien lo amarró a una piedra y le puso un águila que le comiera el hígado. Y como el hígado se regenera, el castigo iba a ser eterno. Bueno, está un género que se llama joropo, joropo tuyero o joropo central, y dice así: el joropo es un género muy especial de Venezuela, que se toca de distintas maneras en las distintas ciudades, en las distintas regiones, y en este caso yo acompaño la canción con un joropo central. Dice así: muy alto allá en la montaña se oye un grito lastimero, es el quejido soberbio del que al hombre trajo el fuego, atado con duro hierro, no es alboroto ni es juego, solo las aves lo escuchan, liberen a Prometeo, escondido como pudo, trajo la llama en un junco, las artes, la medicina y todo lo que allí cupo, en un mapire tejido, muy útil aunque muy feo, solo las aves lo escuchan, liberen a Prometeo. Por dar lumbre a los humanos, causó furia en el gran Dios, y él mismo lo ha encadenado, pues supone un mal mayor, dar a los hombres sapiencia para curar su mareo, solo las aves lo escuchan, liberen a Prometeo. Como atraparlo no basta para quitarle la maña, han puesto a un buitre filoso y bien filoso a comerle las entrañas. Como este titán no se muere, yo no lo sé, no lo creo, solo las aves lo escuchan, liberen a Prometeo. Ay, 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 andaban de timbo al tambo, ay, de timbo al tambo, huyéndole al temporal, huyéndole al temporal, no conocían los astros y todo les salía mal. Ay, 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 ay. Ay, no conocían los astros y todo les salía mal, no sabían forjar metales ni trabajar la madera, ni trabajar la madera, ni domar los animales, ni sembrar en la pradera. ¡Upa pues! No, ni domar los animales ni sembrar en la pradera. No conocían de la letra ni la O por lo redondo. Ni la O por lo redondo, no podían contar la letra ni navegar por lo hondo. Ay, que no ir por lo hondo, ni destilar los alcoholes, ni reparar amalgamas. Que no, ni reparar amalgamas, ni hacer los bloques de adobe, ni el resorte para la cama. Alay, la, 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 la. 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 Y suéltenlo, pues. Liberen a Prometeo, se llama esa canción. Ahora quiero cantarles esta canción que se llama Aquí te esperamos. La 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 y saludo especialmente a toda la fuerza trabajadora que sostiene al mundo y que mañana 1 de mayo recordemos todas esos rostros que día a día en condiciones muy difíciles, muchas infrahumanas, salen a mover al mundo. Sabemos de mucha gente que en esta ocasión, por la pandemia, tiene que seguir trabajando. Les damos toda nuestra mejor energía y que logremos unas condiciones mejores en el mundo que tenemos que construir. Yo no sé si el mundo vaya a cambiar después de esto, ¿no? No sé exactamente. Pero lo que sí creo es que nosotros sí podemos cambiar. Y nosotros somos quienes hacemos el mundo. A todos nuestros hermanos trabajadores y trabajadoras, nuestras hermanas, esta canción, Aquí te esperamos. Suéltate a la buena de las olas del mar. Deja tu bandera, que eso no te va a salvar. No importan tu peso ni tu número de identidad. Sentidos atentos para navegar. Eres la madera, eres agua, eres sal. Eres beso suave, bruma, viento y más. Eres fruta dulce, mano, vino y pan. Eres lo que sueñas, lo que soñarás. Solo faltas tú para completar la rueda. Y aquí te esperamos, los que soñaron y nunca se fueron, los que soñamos, te esperamos. Ah, la, 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 la. Ay, la. Ah, la, 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 la. Ay, la. Oh, ya, 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 ya. Te digo que solo faltas tú te esperamos, los que soñaron y nunca se fueron, los que soñamos, te esperamos, los amorosos, los sigilados, los clandestinos, los compartidos, los pendencieros, los aburridos de siempre lo mismo, los defensores de todas las alas y todas las risas, los sin camisa, con penas y glorias, los todos unidos que no figuran en los libros de historia, los herejes, los blasfemos, brujas, alacranes, cangrejos, los molinos, los motores de la primavera en pleno, los amorosos, los sigilados, los clandestinos, los compartidos, los pendencieros, los aburridos de siempre lo mismo, los defensores de todas las alas y todas las risas, los sin camisa, con penas y glorias como tú y como yo, los todos unidos que no figuran en los libros de historia, los herejes, los blasfemos, brujas, alacranes, cangrejos, los molinos, los motores de la primavera en pleno, los amorosos y amorosas, los sigilados, los clandestinos, los compartidos, los pendencieros, peleones, los aburridos de siempre, lo mismo, los defensores de todas las alas y todas las risas, los sin camisa, con penas y glorias como tú y como yo, los todos unidos que no figuramos en los libros de historia y no nos importa, los herejes, los blasfemos, brujas, alacranes, cangrejos, los molinos, los motores de la primavera en pleno, los amorosos y amorosas. Un abrazo muy grande a todos ahí. ¿Listo? ¿Una más o qué?
Thank you so much, Jose. We love you. Thank you for joining us. That was so beautiful. Next up, we're going to have Samora Pinder Hughes, a comrade, a friend that I've met over this last year. Samora lives in New York City. He became serious about making music in his life after living in Cuba, studying spiritual music traditions. He also studied at Juilliard and has just been an incredible friend to the movement. He has a new album out that everyone needs to check out. I've been listening to it over and over. I'm gonna stop talking. Samora, you're up.
Hello, thank you very much. Appreciate that very kind introduction, Sierra. I'm honored to be here, and that was beautiful, Jose. That was really awesome. I'm just gonna get into it. There's some things that I don't want to admit, so I try not to think about it. So there's a lot of ugly things in my heart. I just hope to the Lord I don't slip. You feel me? So there's some things that I don't want to admit, so I try not to think about it. There's a lot of ugly things in my heart. I just hope to the Lord I don't slip. I wonder what it's like to let it out. That part of me that I'm so afraid of. It holds on me and tosses me about. Doesn't seem to be something I get away from. Tell me, how do you name those well-kept secrets that you never say out loud? And why does the body see these demons but keep me from calling out? I guess I'll just say it's the process, one day at a time. There have been weeks when I already lost it, but I came back every time. So there's a whole entire world that I've created in my mind, and it's so much more real than the one I see outside. I've populated it with people who can see that I'm no good, and who know all the best places where I can go to hide. And I'm haunted by the ghost of my best friend, who just left me to head to the next world. But I'd like to believe it's the West End, with a room full of art and his best girl. And it's positive that I can feel him, but I don't know if I took advantage of the times he was right in the next room, cause my pain was such I couldn't stand it. Tell me, how do you name those well-kept secrets that you never say out loud? And why does the body see these demons but keep me from calling out? I guess I'll just say it's a process, one day at a time. There have been weeks when I already lost it, but I came back every time. When you ask me what's wrong, you might think I don't hear you, but that's not the case. I just might not respond. I don't want to be near you because I'm so ashamed. I just keep the TV on and just let it wash over all of these many fears, and hope I wake up less weary tomorrow morning, and hope I wake up less weary tomorrow morning. Please God, I hope I wake up less weary tomorrow morning. I guess I'll just say it's a process. Guess I'll just say it's a process. Guess I'll just say it's a process, one day at a time. There have been weeks when I already lost it, but I came back every time. I guess I'll just say it's a process. Guess I'll just say it's a process. Guess I'll just say it's a process, one day at a time. There have been weeks when I already lost it. I guess I'll just say it's a process. Guess I'll just say it's a process, one day at a time. There have been weeks when I already lost it. I guess I'll just say it's a process. I guess I'll just say it's a process, one day at a time. There have been weeks when I already lost it, but I came back every time. Yes, I came back every time. Thank you very much. Appreciate your time. Um, yes, that was a song of mine called Process. And I want to continue with a song of mine called Hold That Weight, which, as Sierra mentioned, is on a new project, the Black Spring EP, which I put out last week. And this song is dedicated to all our workers out there. As Jose mentioned, um, tomorrow is May Day. So, obviously we are especially supporting them and celebrating them on that day. And as well, standing in solidarity with the general strike, from Amazon, Target, and Instacart employees and Whole Foods employees. So we're definitely standing with them. This is for them. It's called Hold That Weight. Sorry. I came upon a man who carried in his hands all of his years at the factory plant. Through minimum wage and many a stage of dreams and love and sorrow, he asked if I could spare a pair of my walking shoes to help him climb the hills that still lay in his life. Something he could wear to carry his cares. Hold up his iron, well, a day may be tomorrow. He wanted to lay down. He wanted to touch the ground. I placed myself at his feet and said, whatever you need. He said, practice what you preach. Yes, I will hold that weight. I'll hold that weight for you. Yes, I will hold that weight. I'll hold that weight for you. I came upon a man who carried in his fist all of the violence that happened to him. Through many a day, he locked it away and hardened his flesh like no weapon could prosper. They put him in a cage and said it was his fate to ride with the rest, but he got out in 8. He puts on a mask now to cover his rage, 'cause red and blue lights might look twice and bring the chopper today. He wanted to break down. He wanted to test the ground. I said, how do we defeat that state that do evil deeds? He said, practice what you preach. Yes, I will hold that weight. I'll hold that weight for you. Yes, I will hold that weight. I'll hold that weight for you. Yes, I will hold that weight. I'll hold that weight for you. Yes, I will hold that weight. I don't know if it holds to. I had daydreams, ways of freedom, what it might be. Lately, I see working ways out. Thank you very much. And I'm gonna do one more. And This is a newer song, and it's called Masculinity. Actually, no, I'm gonna do something different. I'm gonna do I like to change my mind. I'm gonna do a song that is dedicated to those at the moment who don't have the, as you said, the ability to social distance, who don't have homes, and who are dealing with that reality in this moment. And this song is called "Stare Straight Ahead." Stare straight ahead. Don't pay no mind to the dead. Don't pay no mind. We're just waiting for you to pass. Stare straight ahead. Let's play a game of pretend. Let's play a game and just say that life moves too fast. I've been struggling, I'm still suffering. I need more than 2 packs and big submarines. Will you be there when it's been 2 weeks and the crowd's gone home and it's cool to leave? Or stay in your house while they clean up the streets, cleaning up people like me. New is the best. Let's all forget those who left. They ran out of time and they couldn't afford the rent. Street is my bed. Let's all forget me. I'm so ashamed. You try living inside a bag. Give me shelter. Give me shelter. Now it's your neighborhood, ain't it? You wanna paint it good. Make it plain, change the name. Give me shelter. Give me shelter. Thank you. Appreciate you having me once again, and I continue to be inspired by you all. So have a good night.
Thank you, Samora. That was beautiful. Thank you so much. For those of you just tuning in, this is Spirit of the Struggle concert series put together by the People's Forum. I'm Kathy Rojas from the Justice Center in El Barrio. I'm in Queens. Before I move forward, I do want to give a few shout outs. I want to give a shout out to 2 of my students that are logged in and watching. So first, I want to give a shout out to Juliana, and then also to Jennifer, who just passed her English essay with an outstanding. So shout out to my 2 students, and thank you so much for watching. So in the spirit of May Day and International Workers' Day, we want to uplift the workers of the world, because if there's anything that this pandemic has taught us, is that the people who matter in this world, the people that keep this world running, are the workers, not the bosses. And I think that nothing has been more clear than now, right? Like, everything can keep running as long as we're running, and we need to fight to create a world that gives workers the importance that they should have, that prioritizes our voices, where we are the leaders. And that's why we at the Justice Center have been planning this Cancel the Rent action. We have been on April 25th, so last Saturday, we started what we call a car caravan, which is when cars got together. Given we can't do regular protesting anymore, we are actually doing protesting with cars. So in Queens, we went through the neighborhoods of Sunnyside, Woodside, Jackson Heights, Corona, and Elmhurst, and we drove around the neighborhoods in our car with placards saying and demanding a national cancellation of all rents, of mortgages for homeowners and small landlords, and for small businesses. We know that at this moment, you know, the federal government has money, right? They've given over $5 trillion of our taxes to bail out Wall Street and banks that don't need the bailout, that have proven to be not important, useless to our society, to keeping our society running, but has neglected to put that. Imagine $5 trillion in our community right now. Imagine what that could do for hospitals. Imagine how hospitals could be built in days, the same way that they were built in China during during the crux of their pandemic, right? And the government has made it blatant that they are putting profits over people. But the thing is that the effects of that are so much more detrimental right now, because right now them doing that is so dangerous, because it's putting our people at risk, right? That's why we see that most of the people that are passing away are Black and Latino. So we, you know, at the Justice Center, we are encouraging people every day at 7 p.m., go out your window, bang your pots and pans, yell out, cancel the rent, yell out, cancel the mortgages, yell out, give workers PPE equipment. And remember that tomorrow is May 1st, International Workers' Day, and that workers across the nation, specifically in Amazon, Whole Foods, Target, and Instacart, are going to be walking out of these warehouses because they are demanding for basic things. They're demanding for hazard pay, PPE. They're demanding for them to stop having to work to ship things that are non-essential, okay? And as always, we have to remember that this country runs on the labor of immigrant people, and immigrant people are being forgotten right now in the stimulus checks. They're not giving stimulus checks. They're not giving unemployment benefits, healthcare, all of these things. And this is why our communities are being so impacted. So we always have to bring them in the conversation. Right now, farm workers, they're trying to cut the pay of farm workers in order to save agro business, right? And this pandemic is never going to be over until we start prioritizing workers. And if the government is not going to do it, we need to force them to do it. We need to make as much noise as we can to force them to do it. So those of you, you know, that are interested, hit me up. Look up Justice Center en el Barrio on Facebook. Look up Justice Center en el Barrio on Instagram. Yeah, and let's keep living in the spirit of struggle. So let's move on to our next person. So our next performer, an artist, is Pauline Pisano, who is an artist, cultural worker, and community organizer in the various campaigns throughout New York City. She is a coordinator for the New York City Arts and Culture Committee of the Poor People's Campaign, a national a call for moral revival, a movement seeking to address the interlocking issues of racism, militarism, poverty, and ecological devastation. She is a co-founder of Songs in the Key of Resistance, a cross-movement cultural arts incubator housed by the People's Forum. So, Pauline, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you. Hi to everyone. I see some of my friends and some of my movement friends on here. I'm going to play 2 songs for you. I'm actually going to put some of the lyrics in the chat so people can follow along to those lyrics if they would like. And then also in that lyric sheet, the People's Forum is actually hosting in the Poor People's Campaign a song share this Saturday at 4 p.m. And you're all invited to come and attend. We sing together. It's super fun. I'm actually in the process of moving, but I'm actually going to be there because it's one of my favorite things. It kind of keeps our energy alive and awake as we're in struggle with one another. And a shout out to my friend Sierra and to all my friends at the People's Forum. I'm going to play a song. I'm going to dedicate this set to Gloria Anzaldúa. I read Borderlands La Frontera about like a year and a half ago, and it was a deeply moving experience. I highly recommend it. You'll see a quote by her in the lyric sheet, but she basically says, "Nothing happens in the real world unless it first happens in the images in our heads." And so it's really important that we all remember, although we live in a hyper individualized world where we celebritize artists, that we're actually all artists and we're all creative in our own right, that we don't have to compartmentalize that and that we all get to build together. So this is dedicated to her. I'm going to open with the song Mother, and then I'll say a quick word and then we'll sing Gloria. Okay.
Little bird, fly away from me. Think of all that you might bring. See if you can somehow learn to fly, fly away from the capital, away from the state's control, away from everything you want to buy. Little one, have faith. Can you feel the rise of the tide? Little one, have faith. We can change their minds. It's going down. It's going down. It's going down. All around. It's going down. All around. There's balance here in space, and the balance is fine. They poisoned everything, so the waters rise. It could take you down. It could take you down. It's going down. All around. It's going down. All around. going down right now. Little bit far away from me. Think of all that we away from the capital, away from the state's control.
I just want to make sure, hopefully that sound was good. Okay, so I wanted to say one thing is that actually comes from a climate change musical. It's an anti-capitalist, anti-imperialist musical that we're working on. Okay.
Let the wall of fear inside tumble, tumble, tumble down. You are good enough. Perfection is the way to sell. We like each other in spite. Evidence that suggests you and I connected. You and I do best. It's time to realize the end is on its way. It's time to redesign the power in this game. And let the hurricane inside turn you around to new ways of knowing who you are. What you're of, your secrets of the stars, and you need love to survive your freedom, your rebellion, your life. It's time to realize the end is on its way. It's time to redesign the power in this game. It's time to blur the lines and let each other in. It's time to recognize the story in our hands. I feel the earth beneath me cry. Take a chance and reach inside and tear down the walls inside. 'Cause we're all gonna fall if we don't try. And I am here for just a second. And it's time to realize the end is on its way. It's time
to redesign the power in this game. It's time to blur the lines and legend. It's time to recognize the story in our hands. In our hands. Hey, and let the earthquake inside fall for you a different ground and wake.
Thank you, everybody. I'm gonna pass it on to the next person.
Thank you so much. That was so beautiful. Thank you. So now we are going to continue with Gabby Duran, who is a multidisciplinary musician, singer, and songwriter hailing from Miami, Florida. Wow. Born in New York City to Dominican parents, her inspirational palette treads the gamut from Juan Luis Guerra to Stevie Wonder to Sade and the whole hip-hop music culture. She got her start in school choirs and bands, and eventually leading to her study at Berklee College of Music. Berklee, yeah. No stranger to experimentation, she turned her attention toward the school of house of self-discovery through trial and error and collaboration with friends, peers, and mentors alike, perfecting her signature future soul sound on which her Afro-Latinidad and Caribbean background leave a distinct fingerprint. So without further ado, Gabby. Gabby Duran. The video, let me see if I could.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yeah. I just
okay,
can't.
When I press start video, it says you cannot start your video because the host has disabled it. Oh, there we go. Okay,
there we go.
Awesome, there we go.
Hello.
Okay, hold on, there we go. Can you see me now? Let's see. Oh, we can, there we go. Can you see me, hear me? We good? Amazing. Hi, my name is Gabby. I was originally gonna play with my guitar, but in between sound check and here, the guitar string popped. But thankfully I have a backup. I'm gonna sing with the instrumentals. These two songs I'm gonna perform are off my latest EP called Triangles. If you haven't listened to it, it's everywhere, Spotify, Apple Music, wherever your favorite music platforms at, it's there. Let's do this. Thank you for having me, by the way. This song is about, it's too late already. A relationship gone sour that it's time to move on. And you realize some things after the fact, but keep it going. Thought you was dedicated. Thought it was so easy. Now you're not even patient. Maybe we couldn't help it. Maybe we should have waited. Did you say you didn't care about me anyway? Now you're playing dumb, like you don't know where it's coming from. Is that so? Is that so? Is that so? Is that so? Now you all up in my deal, acting like I don't see you. Trying to meet me in Miami, I ain't even in Miami no more. So dated. So what, we dated. So what, you came to my party, pardon me, I was being nice, I'm not saying.
I don't care about you anyway. No more playing dumb. Like you don't know where it's coming from. Is that so? Is that so? Is that so? Is that so? You think I can't live without you? I can't. You think I can't live without you? I can't. You think I can't live without you? I can't. You think I can't live without you? You think I can't live without you? I can't. You think I can't live without you? You think I can't live without you? I can't. You think I can't live without you? Yeah. Do 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 do. That was number one. That one's called Is That So? This next song is called Babe Truth. It is my personal favorite on this record. It's a very personal record to me. Because it was that breakthrough moment where I realized that all of the hard work and all the things I'd gone through, like it wasn't in vain. It's time for me to step up and do my part in the world. So I hope you guys like this one. It's called Babe Truth. It's my turn. I've been waiting in line all this time. I got my gloves on. It's time to step up to play. Oh, hand in hand, understand. I'll be ready for the things. Be damned if I let these nerves get the best of me. Stress out recipe, the danger, the memory weighs way more than the melody, more than what you can see. The soul and the chemistry made. Be easy, don't overcomplicate it. No time to get it, no time but the present. Can I get a witness? And lately I've been over maybe. Paint my woes in sunshine. Like my path, come find me, come find me. All timing is divinely in alignment. And all I can do is mine, and all I can do is my best. No time to get it, no time to get it, no time for the present. It's your turn, and you've been waiting. It's all on you now. It's time to step up to play. Throw it fast, throw it slow. Here we go. It don't matter 'cause it's not the park, don't you know? Those nerves can't get to you unless you let them. Babe, don't let it outweigh. Don't wait for the remedy. You got everything. Don't need anything. Be easy, don't overcomplicate it. No time to get it, no time but the present. Can I get a witness? And lately I've been over maybes. Paint my walls in sunshine. And light my path, come find me, come find me. All timing is divinely in alignment. And all I can do is smile, all I can do is smile. No time to get it, no time to get it, no time to get it. Thank you guys so much for having me. This has been a beautiful experience.
No time to give it, no time to give it, no time but the present. Thank you. Oh, I think you froze, Kathy.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Cece. She froze, and I'm like, damn, was I frozen the whole time?
Yeah. You broke the Zoom.
Oh man, I'm sorry, I broke the Zoom.
No, you're so great. I mean, I told folks before we had a quick sound check before we went live. I'm just so grateful for all of the artists, the performers that joined tonight. I've known some of these folks for years. Like Gabby, we met at a bar and I was like, who is this chick? And in Miami years ago, Sybil, we met over Twitter and, you know, in this like 2013 and we've been like vibing and, you know, coordinating and these actions. Pauline, we've been organizing for the last few years with the Poor People's Campaign, a national call for more revival. Samora, I just met recently. Russell, like I said, we met at the Blue Note maybe like a couple of weeks ago. And I just, not a couple of weeks ago, a couple of months ago, I've been staying at home. But this has just been so beautiful. The final speaker tonight is Aja Monet. Aja and I actually met in Palestine a few years ago with the Dream Defenders delegation, the first delegation to Palestine. You know, in a week or so, we're going to be remembering the Nakba, the disaster, and the beginning of the occupation and colonization of Palestine. And so I'm just so happy to have you on, Aja. Thank you so much for joining us. And yeah, I don't know what else to say about Aja Monet.
Hi, everyone. Thanks, Sierra. I have my pit bull in this room with me, so just bear with whatever weird sounds sound beastly. It is a pit bull. His name is Smokey Baldwin, actually. Thank you to all the performers. This is, I don't really like, I guess I'm gonna read like 2 poems and then I'm gonna talk a little bit about the work that we do and give context. I think the role of the artist in society right now. I think it's pretty evident that culture is so crucial to our sustainability as a movement, but also as our multiple like selves and beings, our spirits, our souls, our creative instincts. And I think the weirdest thing about this moment is not so much just that we're grappling this virus and a pandemic and everybody staying at home. It's that presence with one another that I think is really making this so awkward and strange and difficult and frustrating. And so I want to pick up all the artists who are showing up virtually and artists who are typically used to being in one another's presence, because energy is such a big part of the work that we do. We're energy workers as much as we are the roles or titles we have as artists, is that we give and we get a lot out of receiving energy. And so I think this is a particularly struggling time for those of us who are used to being in gatherings and performing and seeing an audience's reaction and feeling the energy of that reaction. I pray that we all value showing up after all of this and presence way more. So with that being said, I figured I would share a little bit of the artist manifesto and about the work that I do. So my name is Aja. I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York. I am currently living in Little Haiti, Miami. I've been here for 5 years. So I'm living in solidarity with all of my friends and family who are struggling in New York City right now. And when I moved down here, I was struggling a lot with trying to reconcile cultural work and the importance I felt of cultural work in relationship to movement, and how movement could see art as more than just decoration or an accessory, but that art was so integral in how we animate the world that we're fighting for, the places that the visions that we have, and not just what we're fighting against, but what do we want to see? What are the things that we envision? And so it's really important that artists are not just there to show up for the show or the event or the rally, but that we are a part of the strategy meetings and the structural things that are set in place, that you have an artist on your staff, on your, and not somebody that's like, oh, I dabble, yes, but someone that actually studied and really spent time with their craft and invested in that emotional internal work, because I think it's a big part of why artists create, and the instinctual creativity. So we started a collective out here based out of our home. It's really a music studio that became a collective, but we started a studio out of our home called Smoke Signal Studio. You can go look that up, smokesignalstudio.org. My partner and myself, Philip Agnew, who's the co-founder of the Dream Defenders, with Sierra. And from that, we started to really think about how could artists see themselves as not just, entertainers and people who were selling things, but also folks who actually understood the history, the legacy, and the tradition of Black art, the Black radical tradition, but also indigenous and folk traditions. And that's always been a part of our history. That's always been a part of how we've moved in the world. And we started to do incredible things around sessions, bartering, finding new ways to actually exchange mutual aid, give your resources and things that you can help and contribute to, giving alternative methods and practices. We started doing these events that became backyard jams and jam sessions and boogies, because one of the things we recognized, as we all are realizing in this moment, is that we can try to feed the material conditions and offer people food and medicine and a roof over their head, etc. Those are all important things. However, people still need to also be fed spiritually. They need to be fed in the soul, in the heart. And so if we're not offering a vision, I think we're also losing the importance of the material importance of art and culture as a need in our communities, as something that is a vital necessity. So we came up with a manifesto that was really big part of the vision that we wanted to set forth. And I'm just going to read a little bit of that and then get into 2 poems and then get out of your hair, because some of y'all have been facing the screen for a very long time. So thank you for bearing with me and listening to me. So the role of the artist is to make the revolution irresistible, says Toni Cade Bambara. She said writer, but we freaked out a little. It has become easier for people to imagine the end of the world than to imagine the end of capitalism, Mark Fisher. Meaningful art transforms, alters, and incites. Making art as a form of expression, a practice for truth-telling and rooted in assembly is powerful. Art is a realm of dreams, imagination, and possibility. It offers us the majestic consciousness of feeling, the undeniable truth, and a sense of community. Great art encourages us to delve beneath the surface of human consciousness and to make the invisible visible. We seek artists intent on challenging, not reinforcing the Western status quo. We seek marvelous art rather than the mundane. We seek surrealist artists, poets, and visionaries to create a different world from this rotting one, to be more than entertainer or escapist, to offer the people presence and alternative values. We seek poetic revolution and freedom dreams. Solidarity is not a luxury. It is vital and necessary for our survival and our creativity. With every thread of our being, artists must confront and oppose individualism. Throughout history, our art and culture have been used as a commodity and vehicle to entrench and export capitalist values, individualism, patriarchy, materialism, and the like. In today's social media celebrity culture, artists are forced more than ever to become brands, to cultivate a network of influence and support from corporate gatekeepers and private corporate patrons. They soon find themselves with less creative freedom, with others making money off of their projects and guiding their voices towards the safety of conformity or the false pretenses of quote unquote trends. This commodification of art changes the process, dehumanizes the artist, and erodes their relationship with their community. The most precious investment is time. Yet in this labor-driven economy, idle time is seen as a sin. Therefore, artists, poets, philosophers are most troubled by the inability to decide their own relationship to time and labor with the intent of process. If there is not time or space to engage in an artistic process, to meditate, to reflect, to wander in thought and emotional honesty, then the resulting art communicates a sentiment of coercion, mass production, and propaganda. It can exhibit little effort, poor execution, and a need for outside validation. We all have something to offer, so I ask of you, what are your gifts? What is your purpose? This is how you decide your offering to your community. Every artist should write an artist statement. What do you seek to understand? And what do you want your art to accomplish? And what mediums best communicates your values? What does your time mean to you? At heart, everyone, I believe, is an artist, but not everyone can make art because we are not all afforded the time to reflect, to imagine, and create. How do we use art to democratize the people's relationship to time? And I think this changes everything this moment right now. And this is part of the reason why I'm making the case that all of us have to become artists, find ways to practice, to pull the dreams and the visions that we've kept in cobwebs and dusted and in the back of our closets under all of our other obligations, to pull those dreams and visions out, to dust them off, and to start practicing the things that we've always said we didn't have the time for. We said wasn't important, wasn't integral in my productivity, wasn't the thing that was going to make me money. To find what centers us, what brings us and connects us back to the source, because that is the impetus of the artist, is to maintain some level of autonomy from the system, autonomy from or even organizations or institutions or corporations, to maintain some level of integrity, artistic integrity that guides and constantly brings you back to source, constantly brings you back to truth. And I think all movement folks should understand that that the best way we can protect and to preserve our artistry and our creative gifts is to make sure that we are fostering space and time for all of us to practice different methods of creativity, different methods of imagining, different methods of collaborating with one another, and that we find ways to tap into that. So I'm going to end with that and leave that there, and then end with a poem for you all. If you want to see the rest of the statement and you want to sign on to the statement as an artist, please visit smokesignalstudio.org/artist manifesto. And here's what I'll leave you all with. So since I'm not in New York, there are some poems that I've written from when I lived in New York, being born and bred. I think it never leaves you, regardless. That I felt I wanted to read because I felt like maybe some people from New York would find it valuable or important. I don't know. So here we go. The first, I'm going to read two. The first one, they're not that long. The first one is called An Offering. And it was about gentrification. Vermilion wax seeps soft down a braided back of wick. The mischievous flame swallows small devils rendered helpless. Shadows tremor the parquet. How we rid a room of virulence, tug a cork from deep copper wine and pour toward the mestizo priest. Hospitality defies sin. A spineless bruised banana lay near the lantern's gutter. We, marooned in the projects, hid in the holy hood of our crown, doused our bodies in albahaca water blessed by sandhog saints. Abre el camino. As hellish hipsters sip on Brooklyn brew, we, the stop and frisk spirits, haunt these streets handcuffed with bicycles while they litter their laughs. Maraca our wrists at City Hall to thunder the gods from their tenement altars. Venture to gentrify our heaven and wage a war with a witch. And I'll end on this last one. Shout out to East New York, Brooklyn, and mad love to everybody in Brooklyn right now. All over the 5 boroughs, but specifically Brooklyn. If ever you find yourself on the J train, get off at Cleveland Street. You will discover a neighborhood of noise, and the music will make your hips laugh. The concrete is a pasture of broken nerves. More importantly, head towards the house whose shrouded shoulders shiver under the ragged shawl of an amusing sky. This is 61 Ashford Street. An old woman called my grandmother spends most summers on the front porch. If you visit when I am a little girl, you will see me sitting next to her in a beach chair, agitated by the humid of spirits and smoke. She blows ghosts from her lips, fashioning cigarettes between her fingers like magic wands. Her arms ripple like the branches of willow trees, and her hands are ancient. I have watched them break the necks of chickens, how the blood drips from her wrists like syrup, savoring the stick and moist before falling. She is a conjured woman, and Cuba is stubborn for her tongue. When she came here to this house of magic and galaxies, I wonder if she ever longed for her country, if a santera ever misses her God. The end.
Oh. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys.
Needed that. Like Aja said, head over to Smoke Signals. Aja is also an organizer with the Poetry for the People series. They just had an open mic that's on Instagram live that you all can check out. That will be up, so please follow on social media.
Tomorrow we're doing a May Day reading. Yes, maybe I don't know, y'all could share it somewhere, but
you talk about it. It's from 7 to 9, but yeah, you talk about it because it's super important.
So we started this reading called Homemade during COVID, in the reality of COVID, really quick, homemade poetic remedies for the times. I've been gathering poets every 1st and 15th of the month in homage to workers who usually typically get their paychecks those days. And we've had incredible readings April 1st and April 15th. And now we have one May Day, which is dedicated to all the essential frontline workers. And we have Martina Spada, who's he's also from East New York, Brooklyn, the only other poet I know. He has an incredible poem called Imagine the Angels of Bread. Please look it up. He also has another poem, Praise, or Albananza. We have Stacey Ann Chin, we have Jose Olivares, we have Ada Limon, Tahimba Jess, like incredible, Denise Froman, a bunch of incredible poets that will be touching on the reality of our current moment, but also giving us words to kind of get through and imagine an emotional landscape. We also offer at that show homemade remedies. So things that people can use to strengthen their immune system. That stuff your grandma used to pass down, that cod liver oil, the garlic, the lemon, all that. We're trying to give people affordable ways to really understand how COVID works, because COVID is also really, it's attacking people who have underlying issues that aren't really taking care of themselves. And the way that America works, we're used to just giving ourselves junk and not really understanding how preventative care is crucial to our health, and especially with this virus. So please tune in 7 to 9 p.m. It's on my Facebook, in support with Haymarket Books. They're supporting us. Yeah, thank you so much.
No, thank you. Many people don't think about mutual aid, think about solidarity when thinking about the arts and cultural work. And like Aja said, it's so important that we incorporate the arts and cultural organizing. We should all, regardless of, this title of you're an artist, all of us have to be creatives. We have to envision another world, because we have to know that another world is possible. And that's a world that puts people over profit. That's a world where everyone has access to healthcare without having to pay for it. That's a world where everyone has housing, has water, has food, has dignity. We have to, all of us have to have a vision of that, and we have to have a collective, have a way of us being connected to one another, connected to the working class as a whole, be organized, and continue to lift each other up, especially in these moments.
Word. And that's exactly why we created this space and want to continue having it. So make sure you join us next Thursday. Shout out to all the artists, Sybil, Aya, Jose, Pauline. Thank you, Kathy, Samora, Gabby, who am I forgetting? Keep going, y'all.
Jose. Yeah.
Yo, thank you, Gammy, for making rice and beans because I couldn't cook tonight. Thank you, Belkis, for like, you know, tuning in the whole time. David, Leanne for putting in that hard work. You know, thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Claudia, for being our political guide during this crazy moment. Thank you, all of you, for tuning in. And make sure you keep yourself posted with everything that we have going on at the People's Forum. You go on peoplesforum.org or check us out on Instagram, People's Forum, at People's Forum, also on YouTube. We have content happening on a weekly basis. So make sure you're looking at that. We're having Monday events. We are having this every other Thursday. So please tune in and send us messages because we want to build community.
Yes, thank you so much to the entire People's Forum team. Like Juan said, Belkis, Jordan, Chris, Sungmo, Andy, Claudia, Kevin, Leanne, Ronaldo, Vincent.
What's up, Rita? Where you at, Rita?
Of course,
Where you at?
Mary, Frizzly, people who keep this project going. Even though our physical space is closed, we're still finding ways to exchange with one another, not only here in New York City, but internationally. And so we want to also invite you, Mayday Space is having an event tomorrow. It's going to be a virtual rally for May Day for the workers. They're going to have essential workers sign on and talk about the different struggles that are happening. They're going to have musical guests, incredible artists who are down for the people. That's tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Again, like Aja said, homemade poetry session 7 to 9. On Saturday, Songs in the Key of Resistance, a project with the People's Forum and the Poor People's Campaign, a national call for a more revival in New York City host. It's a song exchange, so bring your songs, bring your spirit. We also have the People's Walking Tour, which is just incredible. If you haven't been able to be a part of the physical People's Walking Tour, it's a walking tour that represents the history, the challenges, the struggle, the wins of the working class, specifically in New York City. We're going over, that history from the beginning of colonization to slavery to abolition and the development of Wall Street. It's incredible.
Yeah, so if you weren't able to join the tour, we're going to be having a film screening next Saturday on the 9th, and we're going to have a panel discussion afterwards. So if you want to see some, if you want to see some more Sierra, tune in this Saturday. If you want to see some more me, tune in next Saturday.
And then we also have an international project that has begun, the working class photo project that's being put together by Belen. Brian, the incredible people of our communications team is bringing together working class people from around the world with a photo series. You can submit your photo of your experience, your life. You can find out more on the peoplesforum.org. And then we also have the People's Forum Response to the Crisis. It's a weekly series that we have, bringing in the experiences from people from grassroots organizations around the world. This coming Wednesday at 4 p.m., we're going to have a dear comrade, a dear friend, Kambale, who is going to talk about the situation in the Democratic Republic of the Congo and how people are responding there. You don't want to miss it. Again, it's so important that we learn about the struggles that our people are engaged in, that we connect to those struggles, and that we build relationships that can support in the coordination of these struggles. Because as you've seen, with Instacart, with Target, with Amazon, they are unified, they are coordinated, they have a strict line on what they will and will not accept. And, for people of the working class, poor people, people who have to fight to get a decent education, to get access to food, like we have to be coordinated, we have to be united. And this is just
it's super crazy. It's super crazy. Like just on the point that you were talking about, like Trader Joe's, they had somebody die in their 93rd Street location, and they refused to close and clean up. And like they're saying that the workers that are complaining, and are just taking advantage of the time and trying to capitalize. It's ridiculous. And that's why we need to create these kind of spaces where we the working class are working together, talking to one another and building. And also, just to highlight once again, the organization, the Justice Center Barrio, if you want to join on the work, make sure to go on Cancel the Rents with a S, canceltherents.org, to get involved.
And every day at 7 p.m., you tell us bastards to cancel the rent. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back next month, peoplesforum.org, for more information about events, activities. Tune in. Thank you all so much for joining us.
Peace out.